Hey y'all, and welcome back, or if you're new around here, hello and welcome. My name is Katie Marie, and on my channel we do laid back, get ready with me, unedited type of videos, and just chat about random things, different topics in the video. And today's going to be all around chickens, issues with chickens, but mainly around like the loss of life when you're homesteading and with children and all that, because we've been going through something. So a little sneak peek there, but we'll get into it as I do my makeup. But for the palette I'm going to use a Cozy Cabin from Simply Posh Cosmetics. I used this once already and it was a bit of a disaster. Well, it wasn't a disaster, but my color combinations made it look more like a Christmas themed look, and I was going for a fall, so we're back again. I'm going to try to do a fall look today, so fingers crossed I can actually do it. But we're going to use this and create something fun for my eye look today. So let me go ahead and flip my mirror around. I'm going to use the P. Louise base for my base today, and we can just get into it and get to chatting as I do. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of want to talk about just the part of homesteading that can be a little hard when it comes to like losing some of your animals, or just having animals in general. You're gonna come across, if you have any type of animal, you're gonna come across a time where you lose one gets sick, one gets old, they pass away, or in our situation today, you have to be the one to end it because something happened. And so it was like a mercy call, you could say. If you're not familiar, call refers to, at least when I use in this video, to ending, I don't know how YouTube is with that word, but anyway, ending the misery, put it that way. But I guess people also use it, calling refer to just removing from their farm as well. So in this case, I am referring to ending that chicken's misery, because we had a situation this morning when I went out to feed the animals that we have something, I kind of want to get a camera so I can put up it to see what it is, because it's nothing big, and it's not like nothing big to like tear into things, but it's something small, which is why I think it's a possum, maybe a raccoon. I feel like a raccoon could actually do some more damage, so maybe like a possum or an armadillo. I forget if armadillos can really go after, but something will, if the chickens like to sleep too close to the side in their chicken tractor. I have a little grow out pen where they have a home that they can go into, but in Florida, maybe it might be everywhere, but right now in Florida it's beautiful weather outside, and so my chickens like to roost in the run instead of like in the coop at night when it's really nice. So anyway, I had a situation where something got to one of the birds that was sleeping a little too close to the wiring of the run. Let me go ahead and, okay, I had one of my kids come in. I forget where I was, so give me a minute. I'm going to reconvene, but before we do that, let's go ahead and decide what I want to use, and then we'll jump back into it. I kind of did green with the first look. Let's go ahead and use this, this shade. I think I used that in the first shade. Let's do Snowfall, and then we're going to top that with Fireplace to give it a dark reddish look. Snowfall is like a blue, I would say. Blue-black, so topping the red over it I think will give it a much more black. So we're just placing this right where I want it. Oh, it's not really a blue, it's like a blue-green. I want to place this right where I want it, and then I'm going to top the red over it a lot more messily. Anyway, I forget where I was at, but last night something got to it through the cage, and we'd had one before. We lost a rooster, but in that instance, like, the whole thing was gone. It was a bantam, and it was before I kind of refortified my coop or my run to keep, I thought, to keep things out. But before I did this and I put smaller wiring around it, the bantam, I think because it was so small, whatever it was that was reaching for it, was able to pull it completely through, because it was probably, my guess is, this is all speculation I suppose because I wasn't there and I don't have cameras, but they pulled it completely out because the bantam rooster was just gone the next day, like nothing anywhere, just feathers gone, no bones, no nothing. Okay, now I'm going to go into Fireplace, like I said. But this morning, because I had fortified it, it kept the chick there, in that oh wait, I did that a little unevenly, hang on, I'm gonna add a little bit more blue green to that side. Anyway, it did keep the chicken from getting taken, but did not keep it from not getting hurt. And I had went out and it got its leg really bad. Like, I don't want to get graphic on here, but like I said, I had to call it as a mercy call because there was no saving it. at all. Like at all. It was pretty rough, pretty brutal. So yeah, that was this morning. So I went around and did the chores. If you don't know, I tend to go wake up about an hour before my kids and go around and do the main chores, like refilling waters, feeding all the animals and whatnot, just so that the rest of the day and at night it's just a little bit easier to tend the chores and tend the animals with the children, because the kind of heavy duty chores, like, you know, refilling waters and checking on all the animals, being able to focus on them, is already done by me before they wake up. So that tends to be how I do things. So I found it this morning and came inside and was like, okay, like I literally have, so we've been raising meat birds out, Cornish cross if you're familiar with meat birds, but I've been raising them out. They're 8, almost 9 weeks, I think. We're going tomorrow. I'm gonna go with a group of friends we've all been raising the meat birds. We got the order together and we've been raising them separate, but we're gonna go together as a group and process them tomorrow. And one of the reasons I want to do that is because it's been so long since I've processed chickens. Like I did as a kid many times, or like growing up as a teen. But it's been a while, and so I wanted to kind of get re-familiar with it. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to not only raise these chickens and get meat out of it at the end, but when it's time to actually do the deed, I'd come together with friends who are more familiar with it and be able to learn and like refresh my memory and all that. I'm gonna go into cozy. That's what we're gonna do on the outer edge. So that was my thinking. And then today I had this wounded bird, and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to wait till tomorrow. Like, I gotta do this today. So I watched a couple quick videos to refresh my memory. I also was watching on how to process them without having to like dunk and pluck feathers, because I don't have a setup for that to pluck feathers right now. But I have heard, I'm gonna take a little bit of fireplace because I want it to get a bit darker. So I'm gonna mix those two together on the outer edge, just a touch of that fireplace. But anyway, I didn't want since I was gonna have to cull her, I didn't want the meat to go to waste. She's a tiny thing. She was a tiny thing. 4 or 5 months. She was born in August. It's just November, August, beginning of August, September, October, November. Yeah, about 4 months or less. So she was a tiny little thing. She was in a run with some other grow outs because they were still too small to put with the full size ones. But they were getting too big to stay in my like kind of beginner grow out pen that I had them in before. Anyway, I had just put them out not too long ago, and she was in a pen with a bunch of roosters, but she was the one hen, so I was kind of excited. I was like, cool, like when she grows up, my plan was to process extra roosters and keep hens for laying, and so I was excited that we had a hen out of that. And of course she was the one that got hurt, so I didn't want her to go to waste and that just like, you know, bury her and be done with it. So I figured I'd turn it into something of a lesson for the kids when it comes to anatomy and dissecting and whatnot. So we did that this morning and the kids got to see like what the insides look like of a chicken, all the different parts. We kind of looked it over and talked about it. So that was neat for the children to be able to have a little lesson with that. And I try to be very sensitive. I have a range of children from almost 9 down to like, you know, 1-year-old. She's, you know, she sat in the stroller, she didn't care, she didn't know what was going on type of thing. So I always kind of take my children, they have different levels of interest when it comes to this type of stuff. So I was really careful to make sure that like they didn't have to watch, they didn't have to be there if they didn't want to type of thing. But all of them did, and they had many questions, some more than others. So we talked about that this morning. That was really neat to be able to do that. And then I portioned it out, and I'm going to use it for the dog, because I had hoped that maybe we could at least get a little breast meat off of it. I mean, just a little bit, not that it would make a full meal, but just something. But and I don't know if I specified, she was alive this morning when I found her, but she was beyond like saving and recovering because her leg was just, it was a mess. So I knew the meat was fresh. All that to say, I knew the meat was fresh. It wasn't like she was, you know, dead all night there and I was going to use it. So since it's too small to really bother with, I'm going to use it for the dog, so at least it doesn't go to waste. And oh, I gotta sneeze. Sorry. No cutting. I can't I'm not going to be cutting that out. I'm sorry. Usually I sneeze and I'll just cut it out. I'm taking a little bit of that fireplace and just kind of touching it up a little bit. Maybe I'll take some of the orange. That would probably help this spot too. I just feel like it's a little rough right here. where these two meet, so that's why I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit. Okay, my camera battery filled up. My camera card filled up and my battery died. So I had to delete some stuff and then change the battery out. But once again, I kind of forget where I was. I think I was just talking about what we did with the animal. Oh, and then the rest of it, anything that we won't use, that we portioned out, like the insides and whatnot and the feathers and stuff, I actually put it under a plant. We were just about to plant. I had a blueberry bush I bought recently that I've been meaning to get in the ground, so I dug a really deep hole, put it way down there, put some soil on top, and then put the blueberry bush on top of it, so that as the chicken breaks down and decomposes underneath it, it'll be like really fertile soil, and as the roots grow down into it, it'll feed the plant. So yeah, that's what we ended up doing with it. I mean, not that I was, like I said, I was really bummed that she was the one that got caught, because I didn't want her to die. We were gonna keep her and, you know, use her for eggs. She was also a different breed that we don't have, so I was excited to get a different color chicken in the coop and stuff like that. But I also like that it didn't go to waste. It's not like something got her and I just, you know, had to bury her in a random spot somewhere, you know, to produce nothing. At least the dog will get some food that he will thoroughly enjoy, because he loves a good treat. And then the plants will be able to get some good nutrients as it decomposes. And my children got a cool lesson in chicken anatomy, and I was able to kind of explain the different parts of the body and whatnot. So it ended up, you know, going okay. I'm gonna go into tradition, but it's definitely been a part of homesteading, is just dealing with you know, losing chickens or losing animals in general. That is not a fun part, and I've commented before, I think, or I've replied to comments with some people saying like, oh, like you're gonna process your animals or eat your animals, that type of thing. We're raising a homestead. I guess I never said it outright, but we are not a homestead for pets, or we don't have pets. Like even our dog, I don't even consider him really a pet, even though I would say he's probably the most pet-like, because, you know, in one sense it's kind of like, what is he doing besides being here and eating stuff? But even him, the only reason we got him was because we wanted protection on the homestead from anything. Like we wanted to be able to have him to be on the property as far as keeping predators away, because like dogs being around, peeing and pooping everywhere, it does deter some predators. Obviously not all of them, because we lost a chicken. I was like, Zora, go pee somewhere, please. But it can deter predators from hanging around too much. It also is great for like snakes and stuff. We're out in the woods and whatnot. It's nice to know that he's around. If a snake was close, he would alert to it, because he is always on alert. So even with him, we bought him. He is a part of our family for protection. The cats, even, like the cats, they're not pets. The reason we have them is for mice, because of the home we're in. We can have issues with mice, and so having the cats ensure that we don't, except for this one spot right now. Inside a cabinet, I think I have discovered we have a visitor. But I don't really want to like leave the door open to allow the cats to get in, because I'm kind of afraid then the mouse will get out. So I'm using a mouse trap in there. But as far as like running around our house, we don't have to worry about mice anymore, because the cats roam the house at night. But anyway, so yeah, nothing on our home is really a pet. While I think animals are amazing, and I'm not dogging anyone or shading anyone who has a pet, for us and our family, what we're going for with our goal with raising animals, they're not for pets. They are to provide in some way for us. Okay, I think I used this. I think I told you I went to that orange. I'm just gonna take a little bit more. I should use a more like precise brush, but those are dirty. More precise blending brush, but those are dirty. So I'm just gonna go on just the tip. So anyway, that's our goal. That's what we want, what we're raising for. Our pigs, we're raising them out. We have, I mean, they're all pets right now in that we're feeding them, loving on them every day. They're really just, they're a lot of fun. I didn't think I would enjoy pigs as much as I do. When my husband was talking about getting pigs, I was like, oh, pigs. But I really do enjoy the pigs. We love on them. They're our pets right now, but they are to raise out for meat once they get to the right size. And then the chickens, same thing. We're using them for, I got a hair. We're using them for eggs. but also the goal is to raise a dual purpose breed to give us eggs, yes, but then to also be able to produce or hatch out extra and use that for meat so that we don't have to buy our chicken from the store. The end goal, and then the same with the pigs, we'd like to be able to raise them so that when they reach the right size, we're able to process them and we don't have to buy our pork, our sausage, our bacon from the store. So while they're here, they're our pets. Like I said, we love on them. They have great personalities. They all have names. Even I know some people say like, hey, you have them for meat, you don't name them. They just, you know, you take care of them, but you don't name them so you don't get attached. I have to name them, so everybody's got a name. And oh, everybody but the hens. The hens are hard to have names. They have like groupings because some of them look identical. So they, the roosters have names, but the hens, I tend to call them Mama if they've been broody and hatched out chicks, or I'll name them based on their color just so I never forget. But anyway, most of them have names, and yeah, that's what we're doing here. But even though like we have the end goal of being able to provide for ourselves with them, we still want to take good care of them. We want to raise them. I know a lot of people say like they only have one bad day type of thing, and that's our philosophy too. Like while they're here, we treat them and take care of them to the best of our ability and give them as much love and attention as we can. And then when the time comes, they have one bad day. And I know a lot of people said like I could never, I understand it, but for me, when I think about it mentally, like especially with the pigs, I know that's a bit harder because I know pigs tend to be more of that pet for a lot of people. I'm gonna go on with this. It's a glitter primer. But for me, it's like we eat bacon, we eat meat, we eat sausage, use it a lot in our cooking, and I think there's something really special about being able to grow your own meat and to know that like, yes, it's providing for you and you're able to eat it, but while he was alive or she was alive, she had a great life. You know, were there since she was a baby. We just had like birthed, we had 4 girls get born. That was the first litter of pigs to be born on our property, and we're raising them. They're now 4 months old and they're getting bigger, and we're there for it all. And then when the time comes, whenever they get to that right size, we're planning on processing them. But in my head, like, every animal has a time to die, like whether we send them to the processor or they just get old and die type of thing. And for me, I'd rather be able to, you know, that animal while it's here with us, we love on it, we enjoy it, but then when it's, you know, it's time to go, we're able to use that meat and is able to continue to provide for us, and it doesn't just die and get put in the ground and all that meat go to waste, and then I go to the grocery store and buy more sausage from another pig who had to die for me to eat, if that makes sense. So in my mind, and I understand not everyone will think this way, but I guess I'm just explaining my side of it. In my mind, I'd rather know the animal that will end up in my freezer than enjoy an animal, put it in the ground whenever it dies, and, you know, buy from the store, that type of thing. And it's just also, our big goal is just to be a little bit more sustainable, and that with the pigs and with the chickens, we can rotate out. We don't need to constantly be buying and bringing in our own meat in order to eat. We can raise it here and then process it out. I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where we want to process our own pig. That's big, but chickens we can. That's definitely our goal. Okay, what are we gonna do? This is what we have going. I think this is beautiful. I want to do this, but I feel like I did that in my last look, but I really want to stick with the more what do you call, fall. So I think I'll do this one on the main lid, and then I'll do green on the inner half. And I'll make it a little bit more cool tone, but again, I already used, maybe I'll do festive. That's a pretty fun. I think I used festive and candy cane in my first look. That would be super pretty for sure. But again, I want to change it up, do something different. So let's do that. Let's go ahead. I'm going to take gingerbread and I'm just going to tap it over, and then we'll take pine, that green, and tap it over. So anyway, that's been our main goal from the beginning, like before we even moved out here, when we were talking about wanting to homestead. That was the main reason. We wanted to homestead, mainly raise animals, mainly so that we can provide food, like end goal, you know, a couple more years down the road. It would be awesome if we could grow our own food, harvest our own food, and not really have to buy much outside of that. If needed to, we could sustain and grow our own stuff for our family here. But as we're building up, we're just doing it slowly as we can. And that's been the purpose of our homestead. And I've gotten a lot of comments about that. I understand it's not for everyone, but that is what our goal is. So if that bothers you, I figured I'll just say it out loud, be really blunt about it, so that if it bothers you and you don't want to stick around because of it, now you know. I'm going in with pine now, and I'm just going to cut it right above. But anyway, all that to say, even though that is, you know, all of our animals here have a purpose, it still stinks when you have to lose one too early, or lose one by accident, you know, whatever. Things happen, animals, critter, the weather. I think the hardest loss that I've had on the homestead so far has been our first rabbit we got, the crazy hot summer that we had. Despite all my efforts, I think that's what did her in, but I found her one day, she'd passed, and that really stung, because I really like rabbits. And even her, she wasn't a pet. She was our rabbit to produce good compost for the garden. That's why we got a rabbit, and I love rabbits. And down the road, I was thinking about potentially raising meat rabbits, but that's down the road. But we had just the one rabbit for the start, because I wanted some good manure for the garden, and she was great at it, and she was the sweetest little girl. And then, like I said, the hot summer we had, it got well over 100 one day, and we were out all morning, and when I came back, I found that she'd passed, and that one I think hit the worst. Also, I think because I was so unprepared for it, I felt like I didn't know. Like I said, I've thought about eventually doing meat rabbits, but definitely not something I've done, so I didn't know as far as like processing her. I couldn't really at the time, because by the time I found her, like, it had been a while, so I wouldn't have wanted to process her for meat. But I don't know, it just felt like a waste. Like I almost considered trying my best to like take the hide, so at least we could have preserved it and used it for something. Like that would have been something nice to remember her from, but I didn't know how to do any of that, so we just buried her under a tree. So now anytime we see that tree, that's Rosaline's tree. So at least, kind of like with the chicken remains today, as it decomposes, it provides nutrients to the tree, and it can help it grow and fertilize and grow better. So there's something in that, but still, that one I think hit the worst, because I felt the most unprepared for it. So I feel like I wasted her, I guess you could say, or wasted what she had left, since I just buried her like all together. I didn't do anything with her. But yeah, it's hard when you lose an animal unexpectedly, because you put so much, at least I do, I put so much effort into making sure like they have everything that I can, like, you know, everything that they need, and have a really good life. And then you have these things that you're working towards having the homestead. Like, we're constantly working towards different things to grow things here, and to kind of continue to move forward with taking our homestead where we want it to be. So anytime you lose someone, it's a big hit. But yeah, I think she was the biggest one, just because I really do think, my husband just asked me randomly the other day, like, what's your favorite animal? And I thought about it for a while. There's so many animals, and I really do like animals. But I think if I had to pick one, when it comes to like a domesticated animal, I think rabbits would be my pick, just because I had them growing up. I loved them. I had them now, you know, with our homestead. I really did enjoy her, you know, going out and spending time with her, having her hop around. She's so soft. They're so quiet. They're just so cute too. So yeah, I told him rabbit. So anyway, at this point I'm rambling. My kids took the bird dying pretty well. She was a newer bird, so maybe that's why I had purchased her, because one of our mamas hatched out one chick. And so when the time came to like separate the mama and the chick, I wanted to get a couple more chicks to put with that bird, just so it wasn't by itself growing up. So I had just gotten her and another rooster to put with them, so it wasn't around very long, so maybe that's why my kids took it so well. But it was really sad, and it was still a sad morning, but they did enjoy it. My boys definitely enjoyed getting to see kind of like how things work, so that was something. At least it was something of a lesson. Oh yeah, I wanted to use, let me do eyeshadow or inner corner, and then I'm going to do some blush, because this collection did come with cheek products. For my inner corner, let's do let's just do this to be different. What's it called? Lights. I definitely feel like I got more of a autumny look than the last time, so that's good. But anyway, I don't really, I guess I didn't really have like a certain thing I wanted to talk about, except to kind of talk about losing chickens on the homestead and our goal on the homestead, because I have been starting to get comments about like people asking if we're going to eat them or what we're going to do with them, or like how could we process our pets. So I figured I'd address it now. That way, if it's, like I said, if it's not something you're interested in, you'll know now and can know for future, you know, future subjects talking about the homestead. But yeah, I'm kind of sad and still bummed about, because that all happened this morning. Really bummed about losing her. And also gotta, I don't know, I might have to put a box inside it already has a box I made for their coop inside the run, but I might have to put a door on it so that I could physically put them in and shut the door, because like I said, you would think that they would be like, oh, you know, let me go somewhere safe, but no, in the nice Florida weather, they really don't like to be shut up inside if they can help it. They would prefer to be outside. And we have roosters who run free range in our one big field we have to keep down bugs and stuff. And because they're, you know, the roosters, we have enough of them, a couple of them that are older that I didn't want to like grow out for processing. I just let them run in the field. So anyway, all that to say, they will also try to roost on top of the runs, like on top of the runs out in the open. And I literally built them a very nice secure coop that I have out in the field that they can go into, and I can shut the door and they'll be safe at night. And they refuse. We've been doing this for months. They refuse, and they will not learn to go in at night because they just prefer the open air. It is usually, especially in Florida, even in the hot summer, it's nice at night. So they just don't like to. And so every night I have to go in and literally take them, grab them, and stick them in the coop and shut the door, because they won't go in on their own. And I really thought that the place that I had the little chicks in was, you know, secure enough, because like I said, I had a bantam get taken, so I secured it, but apparently the holes are still too big. Something's getting in there. So, or she like sat by the door. I guess she could have slept by the door, because that also isn't super reinforced, because I have to be able to like open and close it. Anyway, I'm trailing at this point. But yeah, chickens aren't that smart when it comes to their safety at night, I guess you could say, because I have to do a lot to like be like, hey, can you please be safe? So anyway, I have to do something about the remaining chickens in there to make sure they don't get taken. And yeah, I was just really bummed doing all that this morning. Like I said, I wasn't ready or like mentally prepared to do any of that, and I wasn't ready as far as like oh yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Cheeks. I wasn't ready as far as like being familiar with the process. I think I used this before, but I'm gonna use it again. It's my favorite shade, Winterberry. So that was a little bit crazy. I had to set up something real quick, but we managed to get it done, put the poor thing out of its misery, and had a good lesson in the process, homeschooling lesson right there that we had, not only about just life and death, but also what chicken anatomy is like. They thought it was neat, so we had a good lesson about that. They were asking all about like, you know, differences and similarities between us, because we're also in our regular homeschool lessons we're learning about I'm gonna go on with let's do sweater weather. I think I used miracle before. Let's do sweater weather. We're learning about anatomy of the human body, so that was really neat, and being able to see the differences for them between chicken and human, because we've been learning a lot about what our human body looks like. And yeah, I'm just really sad. Like I said, really sad. I was excited for her to grow up. She was a really pretty chicken. I can never say her breed. Wyandotte. She was a silver laced Wyandotte. I think that's how you say it. They looked really pretty, and I was excited to have found her available locally. And no more. We still have the rooster. But anyway, all that to say, that's what I wanted to chat about. Yeah, some days, today is not one of those like, ooh, yay, homesteading days. It's pretty sad. But we did the best with what we had, you know, made do with what we had, tried to not let her go to waste and didn't just throw her in the trash type of thing. We were able to reuse her around the property for different reasons. My dog's gonna love it, because he's always trying to steal chicken from me anytime I'm preparing it. So he'll enjoy those treats, and hopefully our bush will give us a lot of blueberries next year. That's the hope. So yeah, just wanted to share a little bit about that because I feel like that's a subject I typically stay away from, but it's something that's definitely a reality if you're going to keep animals, especially like farm animals type of thing, to be ready to, you know, make those hard decisions to cull or mercy cull, if you want to call it that way, if it need be, because that poor thing, I felt so bad when I saw her in the morning. She was in rough shape. So yeah, that was my morning, and that's what I'm talking about today. But anyway, this is the look. Oh man, it just started raining really hard, so I better go in case my kids are like, what is that? Because we haven't had rain in like months. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna put liner and mascara on, but this is pretty much the look. Again, beautiful look. I love the matte formula. The shimmers, like the dazzle. Beautiful, love it. So that's the look. It's raining harder. I better wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if this was very random and just like all over the place. If you're not new around here, you probably are not surprised because it tends to be, I like have this subject in mind, but then I just start talking and it goes where it will. So if you're not new around here, you're probably used to that, but if you're new around here, I'm sorry if that annoys you. But if you enjoyed this topic, or if you want to hear more about our life on the homestead or whatnot, stick around. I'm over on the Makeup Homesteader on Instagram, where I share some of our homesteading, you know, kind of snapshots and whatnot if you want to look in that. I'm also on LadyKaty92 if you want more makeup related content. That's where I post over there. And with all that said, that's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.